What's the most hurtful thing you've overheard about yourself by accident? Overheard my mom telling my aunt that she hated me as a person. I was 13. My wife had a falling out with some friends of mine that she met through me. We had known them a long time, but I had known them for much longer. I was upset with her one night because they were always asking why she never came around anymore, but she absolutely refused to see them. I always thought it was because of this little side business project they went into together that didn't work out. So I'm driving my wife somewhere and I just start getting upset with her that she won't make up with them and move past it like they did, and it sucks that she never comes with when I go over there. So she finally broke and told me the truth. Every time she went over there without me, they would talk shit about me, putting down my personality, my humor, and much more. I guess they thought she would be okay with it, like a joking haha my husband can be such a insert something right. But she wasn't okay with it. She's not a confrontational person, so she never really spoke up, but she was disgusted by the way they spoke about me behind my back and refused to have anything to do with them. She had been letting me think it was all her fault and she took it because she knew the truth would hurt my feelings, and it did. It boggles my mind to still be thinking about this nearly 3 decades later. At a goodbye sleepover for my best friend who was moving out of the country, I overheard her saying to another girl, "Ugh, VBL is being so annoying tonight. I can't wait to leave." The other girl agreed enthusiastically. They thought I was asleep. I cried silently for an hour. Went out to a bar with some friends for a birthday party for my ex-girlfriend. She really messed me up when she left me, like really bad, but I was trying to be nice since she invited me, so I figured I'd go out and be there for a drink or two. So, a mutual friend who had been broken up with a few days before and was there, so as I made the rounds I talked to her and tried to do whatever I could to let her know it would be okay. I'm no therapist, but I did my best. I knew what a bad breakup felt like, as I was also going through one, so I tried to help. Anyways, after I left the table I overheard her talking to my ex at the bar about me trying to give her advice, and she said, "Well, nobody has ever loved him, so what does he know about any of this?" And they started laughing. Don't think they know I heard, but I grabbed my coat immediately and took a long walk home. I don't need people like that in my life. Haven't willingly seen either of them since. When I was in middle school art class, something funny happened and I let out a loud laugh. I then overheard one of my childhood best friends whisper to another person, "God, I hate Trader 2488's laugh." I immediately looked at him and said, "What?" And he just looked down at the table like he didn't hear me. This actually made me change my laugh. It's completely different from what it used to be. I was copied into an email conversation where about 10 messages earlier one of my employees had described me as an idiot and suggested to the recipients that they didn't get me involved in the situation they were discussing. I'd always thought we got on well, and it knocked my confidence. I had just moved into my dorm for my second year of college. My roommate was my best friend since 9th grade. My stuff hadn't arrived yet, and it was my time to register, so I asked him if I could use his computer. He said sure. I sat down, and he had aim open to a conversation with another friend of ours. I didn't scroll up, but from what was just visible on screen, they were talking about how weird I was and how awful it would be rooming with me. I closed it so he wouldn't realize later I'd seen it, registered, and left. We still lived together that year, but we didn't hang out at all. We just cohabited. I never asked him to hang out as friends. He never asked me. Move out day that year was the last time we spoke. That was over 10 years ago. We chatted every day for 6 years, then haven't spoken since. I still don't know if I did or said something to flip how he felt about me, or if he never really liked me to begin with. The possibility of the latter really fucks up your future friendships. Hell, the former does too, knowing apparently you're capable of unknowingly saying or doing something to throw away a 5-year friendship. Everyone I'd invited to my first sleepover laughing while reading my diary entries about how my dad had been abusing me. I'd left the room and one had gone snooping. It was worse when they wouldn't stop or give it back when I burst in and pleaded with them too. Then everyone laughed even harder. That was the first and last time I wrote anything real like that in a diary. I think this was 9th grade. A girl I had a crush on, but hadn't really talked to at all, was moving away. A few days before she moved I overheard her saying, Yeah, I'll miss pretty much everyone. But I'll tell you one person I won't miss. Sanskrit. That kinda sucked. When my oldest sister died, my older sister was crying to my mother about how she felt alone. My mother was trying to reassure her and said, "You still have Vamped Vixen though." But my sister said, "Who cares about her? I want oldest sister back." I kinda get it, but this was around the same time my mother told me to my face that it should have been me who died instead, because I don't have a husband or kids like my oldest sister did. It seemed like absolutely no one wanted me in my family and they all wished I could have switched places with the one we lost. People wonder why I'm depressed now. Edit. Wow, this blew up. Just wanted to add to everyone telling me not to speak to my mother anymore. Well, joke's on her. She died about a decade ago. My oldest sister died in 2008, my father in 2010, my mother in 2012. All of alcoholism. I'm just a bachelor orphan with no family now. Well, I have my older sister, but we are pretty estranged after her coke habit and money stealing days, which is good and also bad, especially on Christmas. My mother never apologized to me and ended up getting even more abusive as time wore on. I eventually moved out of the house and went to live with an abusive boyfriend. Since 5 years ago though, I've moved down south, and after many trials and tribulations, many of them, I now have my own apartment and 2 beautiful cats. I'm completely alone other than that though, which is even more depressing. But waking up to see my inbox explode and the gold/silver and everyone wishing me well is really helping me to get through Christmas Day, the most depressing day of the year for me. Love to you all. Walked up on a bunch of people who I thought were my friends talking shit about me, saying I'm a loser and all this other shit. When they saw me they fell silent and I just walked away. That really hurt, but I got over it eventually. Just 5 minutes ago, my coworker told me my other coworker told her she'd quit immediately if I got hired onto the position they're currently at. Up until this point, I thought this girl and I were best friends. I even shared my Netflix password with her. That bitch. Hope you changed the password. It's one of the first things I did after hearing it. I went to school with a black eye and busted nose from my dear old dad. Child services was called to do a home check. My dad and mom told the worker I'd done it to myself and I was suicidal and that I'd written in my diary that I wanted to kill my little brother. I didn't even have a diary, and of all the people I was close to, my little brother was #1. It got me a black eye and an involuntary stay in a locked ward. I bailed as soon as possible. Background: I'm 12 years younger than my older sisters, and I was unplanned. At age 7, I overheard my mom crying and saying I was the reason she didn't love my dad anymore / we were poor / why she isn't happy, and that she didn't want to be a mom anymore. She said she didn't know how to love someone who ruined her entire life. It was Christmas Eve, and she was drunk talking to her best friend on the phone. It broke my heart / spirit, and that was only the beginning of my awful childhood. Side note, I'm 29 now, and moved out when I was 15 to protect myself. I have no contact with my parents, and I'm fully aware it wasn't my fault I was born. But damn, this memory still fucks me up. My best friend's story, not mine, but figured it's worth sharing. We'll call her Carrie. She was born super premature, but she ended up completely fine. Like you would never know, unless you saw the pictures of when she was born. Anyways, when she was around 8, she was at the top of the stairs, head peeking through the banister, secretly listening to her parents argue downstairs about how her dad was too hard on her brother for his grades. Her mom says, "Well, why aren't you that hard on Carrie? She doesn't get straight A's either." And her dad responds, "Carrie was born premature, she's probably retarded." When I was a preteen, I posted a picture of myself online with a minor celebrity. I later found that it was reposted on a message board, and the majority of the comments talked about how ugly and pale I was. The only person who said anything nice said, "Don't say that. She posts here sometimes, and she's really nice." Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to be entered into our iMac giveaway.